Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Essential Hub. Today, we are going to take the summary of our two last acronyms in the ART-PI, that is implementation and evaluation, because they go hand in hand. And so today happens to be the first time you're following us on this nursing process topic. I'll urge you to go back and listen to our assessment phase, our nursing diagnosis lecture, and our planning lecture, so that you can be able to follow accordingly. If today happens to be the first time you are joining us again, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us accordingly, so that as and when we release a new video, you will be notified and follow us accordingly. Today, in this episode, we are going to talk about the implementation phase and the evaluation phase of the nursing process. From the English word, implementation, evaluation, let's start with implementation. Fast forward, in our previous episode, we saw assessment phase. That tells us of how to fish out the patient problems. We saw the nursing diagnosis phase, how to write our nursing diagnosis. Then we saw our planning phase, how to plan and tackle the problem that we want to face or want to deal with. After planning, the nurse doesn't just sit down. The major phase is the implementation, putting into action the plan that you set out to do in order to achieve your aim. And so I've planned that I want to do this for my patient. The implementation phase is simply telling you that put those plans into action, i.e., checking vital signs, reassuring the patient, responding to the patient, giving medications, and what plans you set out. And so the implementation phase is simply the phase where the nurse puts into action, delegates tasks that is tailored towards solving and handling the patient problems. For example, my patient is in pain. What were the plans I set out for that pain? Putting into action those plans is what we mean by what? Implementation. So for example, I said, check vital signs. Intervention or implementation. How do I intervene? I intervene by what? Checking the vital signs such as the temperature, the pulse, respiration, and blood pressure. Noting what is happening in the vital signs. If there's any abnormality inside, I deal with the situation. For example, the temperature is still on the rise. What do? I call the physician, I call the doctor to come and assess and then find out what is wrong, why the temperature is keep rising despite the treatment. Have I served medications? If no, I serve the medication. So the implementation phase has to only do with the nurse implementing or putting into action the plans he or she has set out to do and ensuring that they are done and done appropriately. Hence the implementation phase. And so when you set out your plan, you've put out your orders, and you don't implement them, definitely you can't solve the patient problem. Right after the implementation phase, we now go to the evaluation phase, which is very simple. I have put into action the plans I set out for myself to achieve the patient health problems. I ask myself, the things that I have done, have I been able to solve the problem? That is evaluation. You are reassessing whether what you've done has solved the problem or not. So at every point in time, the nurse must reassess or must evaluate the caregiving, whether it has solved the problem or not. And if it hasn't solved the problem, you quickly reassess again, finish out the problems, draw your plan again, and continue. And so the implementation and evaluation phase works hand in hand, where the nurse puts into action the duties to be done, and at the end of the day, finds out whether what has been done has actually solved the problem or not. And so in writing your evaluation, it will be goal fully met or goal partially met. For instance, if my body temperature was high, that's a patient problem. And after all my interventions or my implementations, now the next intervention on the care plan you can see on your screen is the same as the implementation phase, putting into action the orders and the plan to achieve your aim. If at the end of the day, my patient body temperature has not come down, at my evaluation column, I must write goal partially met. It is either goal was fully met or the goal was partially met. if the problem that has occurred after all your interventions, the goal was not met, you write goal partially met and give us evidence why it was partially met. So goal partially met as evidenced by patient body temperature not subsiding. If the goal has been fully met, tell us why it has been fully met. So for example, goal fully met as evidenced by patient temperature reducing to the normal range of 36.2 degrees Celsius to 37.2. And then you put your initials there, for example, nurse, Reginald, and then you sign. So at the evaluation column, you tell us was the goal fully met or not. You give us evidence as to how it was met or not met. Then you put the initials, your name and your signature. That should tell us that you did the evaluation. So the implementation phase and the evaluation phase in a nutshell is telling us about the various plans the nurse put in position to address the health problems. Has those plans that you put out, have you implemented them? What did you do about it? That is the implementation phase. Now, when you are done with the implementation phase, you have to assess, evaluate whether what you have done has actually solved the problem or not. If it hasn't solved the problem, the nursing process continues again. You have to reassess, you have to plan, implement, and evaluate. So at every point in time, you are assessing, you are evaluating, you are finding out whether the problem has been achieved or has been solved or not. Viewers, this sums up the nursing process in brief. In summary, like we began in our previous episode, the nursing process has 5 key factors, which was given at the acronym ADPI: assessment, diagnosing, planning, implementation, and evaluation. These are the things that makes up the nursing process. So this is just an addition and a brief overview that you have explained our episodes to guide you in drawing a very good nursing care plan. Thank you for following us through this episode, and we wish to give you more episodes. And so always subscribe to us so that when we release a new video, you will be notified accordingly. Thank you. This is Licensure Hub. See you on another episode. It's bye for now.